history? Order a Miller Lite, the light beer that invented light beer. The one brewed for lightness and taste. Brewed with more beer in it. Because even if you're drinking a light beer, it should still taste like beer. Well, that's Miller Lite. The first. Numero uno. The one that started it all. You're welcome to other light beers. And for a limited time, Miller Lite is back in the original light can. It's Miller time. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Donut Mart, the official donut of the Isotopes, is now offering the Isotope Special. Mention the Topes and get an egg and cheese breakfast sandwich, a cup of coffee, and a donut for just $2.99. That's right, a breakfast sandwich with coffee and a donut for only $2.99. Your home for fresh donuts and great coffee also offers the winning game special. If your Isotopes win the night before, bring in your ticket stub to any of their 5 locations for a free donut. Go Isotopes, think local, support local. Donut Mart, the official donut of the Isotopes.
Albuquerque Isotopes Baseball on Sports Radio 610, the sports animal.
It is Friday night here in Fresno, and it is Game 2 of this 4-game series for the Isotopes against the Fresno Grizzlies. This is the Bank of the West On Deck show, and as we continue, we are joined by Jeff Bennett, the newest member of the Isotopes, just signed with the Dodgers. Joins us today. He'll be the starting pitcher tomorrow. Well, Jeff, you were pitching in the Mexico League. Take us through the last 72, maybe 96 hours of your life of where you were, the phone calls that took place, and how you got here to Fresno.
You know, it's been very crazy, but it's all worked out down to the minute. I was on a bus ready to go to, or actually traveling to Saltillo from Reynosa, and when I got off the bus in Saltillo, I saw that I had 17 missed calls from my wife and my agent. And my agent hadn't called me in a while, so it was kind of odd. And I answered the call, and he said, you know, he had a AAA job with the Dodgers. So I was supposed to start that day. And, you know, by the grace of God, that day we got fogged out. The field was full of fog from the rain, you know, earlier that morning. And about game time, they had already called the game, and the fog had lifted when we were playing catch. So it was obvious that I wasn't supposed to start. And you know, I got on the phone and made a bunch of calls and was fortunate to get my GM to, you know, give me my release, and got on a plane and, you know, came to busted from Saltillo to Monterey, flew from Monterey to McAllen, and then the next day flew from McAllen to Dallas, Dallas to LA, and LA to here. So it's been a wild ride.
That has been a wild ride. It sounds like this kind of came somewhat out of the blue. Do you had any ties with the Dodgers organization that would help facilitate this?
No, not to my knowledge. You know, I was having a good season in Reynosa and really didn't think about leaving. I was talking to some Taiwanese teams about going over there, but nothing really serious etched in stone. And then this came out of the blue, so it's definitely a blessing.
This is the Bank of the West On Deck show. We're talking to pitcher Jeff Bennett. So last time you pitched in Major League Baseball was 2009. You've been in the Mexican leagues. You've been in some independent leagues the last 2 years. It would be reasonable to say, I've had enough of this game. I got a lot out of this game. What keeps you going? What has kept you going?
You know, it's funny because I've tried to get out several years, the last couple of years, and I keep finding this job. You know, I played in Mexico last year, went to spring training with the Rockies in 2013, and then got released and went to Mexico. And, of course, the independent ball a couple years. And, you know, when I just kept finding jobs, I felt like God was taking care of me and my family, and we were paying the bills, so I figured I'd play until I didn't have a job. And, of course, then this comes. So I really feel like God just kept me in the game. You know, the reason, don't really know, but I'm very thankful for it.
How are you a different pitcher now than you were, say, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or way back when you were a baby just out of high school, 18 years old, playing professional baseball?
Well, back in the day, I just wanted to throw the ball by people all the time. I had a sinker and didn't use it. But now, you know, I know it's about going out there making quality pitches and getting guys out, however that may be. You know, if you have to throw a sinker, cutter, changeup, slider, curveball, whatever, it's just about putting up zeros and throwing deep in games and helping your team win. And that's been what I've been trying to do for the last couple of years. Fortunately, as a starter, so I can take care of myself a little bit better.
If this was a Back to the Future movie and you were Dr. Emmett Brown and you had a DeLorean and you could go back in time, what would the 33-year-old Jeff Bennett say to the 18-year-old Jeff Bennett who's just starting his pro career?
Oh, man. I would beat the crap out of myself, I'll tell you that much. There's so many things I could change, but I would say that, you know, the ride that God's took me on, and the bad choices that I made, you know, God has made good out of them. And I wouldn't be who I am today without all the bad choices that God had made good out of.
This is the Bank of the West on Deck show. We're talking to pitcher Jeff Bennett. So you made your Major League debut on April 6th, 2004. You're on the Brewers. You beat the Cardinals 7-5. 1 1/3 scoreless innings. You got out Albert Pujols. He was probably the best hitter in baseball at that time. What are some of your memories from your Major League debut?
most memorable moment was going out there and they telling me what sign to put down and all that, second sign, shake first, all that. And I goes back to the behind the plate, puts down the sign, and I just stare at him. And he calls timeout and comes out. I think it was Damian Miller. He said, "You don't know what I put down, huh?" I said, "No." He said, "Just throw a fastball, kid." And I was like, "Okay." So, I threw a fastball until he, put down another sign. And that was definitely the most memorable moment. But I remember facing Pujols. He popped out in foul territory at third. And, ended up going, I think, an inning and 2/3. I don't know. But it was, I couldn't feel my body out there, That's probably how I'll be now.
Final question for you. Your first Major League hit came off Randy Johnson, future Hall of Famer. What are your memories of that at bat?
Scared to death. Scared to death. He's very intimidating. I was up there, and all he had to do was throw a fastball by me, and he threw 3 sliders trying to strike me out. And all it did was speed me up and help me, make contact. So I was fortunate to get a hit to right, and I'll remember that for the rest of my life. He didn't want to give me the ball. He was mad. And, I was older, so he was probably stunned that it was my first hit. But I got it at home, and we had the same agent, so I'm hoping to get him to sign it someday.
All right, Jeff. Well, thanks for the memories, the visit. Welcome to the Albuquerque Isotopes, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
There's still more to come on the Bank of the West on Deck show. Coming up next, we'll take a look around the Dodgers organization. Your baseball notebook is next. This is Isotopes Baseball on 610, the sports animal.